On January 31, 2000, Alaska Airlines Flight 261 took off from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, destined for Seattle with a stop in San Francisco. On board were 83 passengers and 5 crew members, all looking forward to a routine flight. The pilots, Captain Ted Thompson and First Officer William Tansky, were both experienced aviators. For the first hour, everything was normal. The sun was shining, and the mood in the cabin was relaxed. But deep within the aircraft's tail, a critical component was failing, setting the stage for one of the most harrowing aviation incidents in modern history. About an hour and a half into the flight, while cruising at 31,000 feet, the pilots began to experience problems. They couldn't trim the horizontal stabilizer, a crucial part of the tail that controls the plane's pitch, its up and down movement. The autopilot was fighting them, and the control yoke was heavy. They tried to troubleshoot, running through checklists, but the stabilizer was completely jammed. The problem was with the jack screw, a long threaded rod that moves the stabilizer. Years of insufficient lubrication had caused the threads to wear down excessively. The nut that traveled along the jack screw was stripped, making any controlled movement impossible. For over an hour, the pilots manually wrestled with the controls, keeping the MD-83 jet flying level. They decided to divert to Los Angeles International Airport, LAX. The flight attendants kept the passengers calm, assuring them it was a minor control issue. But the situation was far more grave than anyone in the cabin could imagine. The pilots knew they were in serious trouble. The cockpit voice recorder captured their calm professionalism as they discussed every option, working together to save their aircraft. They requested a block of airspace to continue troubleshooting, hoping to regain some control before attempting a landing. In a desperate attempt to free the jammed stabilizer, the crew tried using the primary and alternate trim motors together. For a moment, it seemed to work. A loud noise, which investigators later identified as the sound of the completely stripped jack screw assembly failing, was heard in the cockpit. The stabilizer, now free from any mechanical restraint, was forced into an extreme nose-down position by the aerodynamic forces on the tail. The aircraft immediately pitched over into a terrifying, near-vertical dive. For 80 seconds, the plane plunged from 31,500 feet, falling at an incredible rate. Inside the cabin, passengers and crew were thrown against the ceiling by negative G-forces. The pilots, fighting with all their strength, pulled back on the yokes. Miraculously, at around 24,000 feet, they managed to arrest the dive and regain some semblance of control. They had performed a superhuman feat, but the aircraft was now severely damaged and barely flyable. They informed air traffic control, "We're in a dive, a vertical dive, and we've got it back under control here." The pilots told the controllers they intended to continue their emergency diversion to LAX. They were still fighting the plane, which wanted to pitch down violently. They began configuring the jet for landing, extending the flaps and slats. This action, meant to prepare for a safe landing, dramatically changed the aerodynamics of the aircraft. With the flaps extended, the plane's tendency to pitch down became uncontrollable. The damaged stabilizer couldn't counteract the new forces. The pilot's words on the cockpit recorder became more urgent. "This is a bitch," one of them said, struggling against the controls. Then, the unthinkable happened. The plane entered its second and final dive. This time, it was inverted, flying upside down. The pilots fought to the very end. The last words heard from the cockpit were a desperate attempt to roll the plane upright, but it was too late. At 4:21 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Alaska Airlines Flight 261 crashed into the Pacific Ocean just a few miles off the coast of Port Hueneme, California. The impact was catastrophic. All 88 souls on board were lost. The investigation that followed was extensive. The National Transportation Safety Board, the NTSB, recovered the wreckage from the ocean floor, including the crucial jack screw assembly. They discovered the shocking reason for the failure: inadequate lubrication. The maintenance procedure for greasing the jack screw, set by the aircraft manufacturer and approved by the FAA, was found to be insufficient and confusing. Furthermore, Alaska Airlines had extended the interval between these lubrications, making a bad situation worse. The NTSB concluded that the probable cause was the failure of the horizontal stabilizer trim system S-jack screw assembly, resulting from excessive wear due to insufficient lubrication. The tragedy of Flight 261 served as a wake-up call for the entire aviation industry. It led to immediate and sweeping changes. An airworthiness directive was issued, mandating more frequent and thorough inspections and lubrication of the jack screw on all MD-80 series aircraft, as well as other models using a similar design. The maintenance procedures themselves were redesigned to be clearer and more effective. The FAA also increased its oversight of airline maintenance practices. The legacy of Flight 261 is a safer sky for all of us. The lessons learned from that terrible day have been integrated into procedures that protect millions of passengers every year. The story of Alaska 261 is not just about a mechanical failure. It's a story of incredible heroism in the face of impossible odds. Captain Thompson and First Officer Tansky were posthumously awarded the Airline Pilots Association Gold Medal for heroism for their extraordinary efforts to save the aircraft and its passengers. Their professionalism and courage in the final moments of their lives are a testament to the dedication of flight crews everywhere. We remember the 88 people who lost their lives that day, and we honor the pilots whose final actions contributed to making air travel safer for generations to come.
Thank you for watching. If you found this story meaningful, please like and subscribe for more content.